Hello and thanks for joining us on Nationwide. I am Dennis Adegunloye. Thanks for joining us. President Bola Tinubu and First Lady Oluremi Tinubu are back in Abuja from Rio de Janeiro, where they attended the 2024 G20 Leaders Summit. The presidential plane landed at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, at about 20 minutes past 10 Saturday night. Nigeria was invited as a guest country for participation at the summit of the 20 biggest economies in the world. At the summit, President Tinubu announced Nigeria's commitment to the Global Alliance Against Hunger and Poverty, launched by the Brazilian presidency of the G20. On the sidelines, the president met with the managing director of the International Monetary Fund, Kristalina Georgieva, where the global financial agency commended the Tinubu administration economic reforms and their positive indicators. The Nigerian leader also had some bilateral meetings and saw to the signing of a letter of intent for Nigeria's partnership with 3 Brazilian companies to facilitate development of Nigeria's livestock sector. The UN Climate Change Conference COP29 has ended with a new finance goal to help countries to protect their people and economies against climate disasters and share in the benefits of the clean energy boom. With a central focus on climate finance, COP29 brought together nearly 200 countries in Baku, Azerbaijan, and reached a breakthrough agreement that will triple public finance to developing countries from the previous goal of $100 billion annually to $300 billion annually by 2035. And secure efforts of all actors to work together to scale up finance to developing countries from public and private sources to the of $1.3 trillion per year by 2035. Known formally as the New Collective Quantified on Climate Finance, NCQG, it was agreed after 2 weeks of intensive negotiations and several years of preparatory work in a process that requires all nations to unanimously agree on every word of the agreements. Nigeria is to host this year's symposium of heads of navies on the 26th of November in Abuja to discuss key issues in the maritime domain, especially the Gulf of Guinea, known for commercial activities which drive the economies of more than 25 countries in Central and West Africa. On the global stage, the region accounts for about 15% of global oil consumption, as well as approximately 50 to 60 billion barrels to the global energy landscape. Other issues central to the enhancement of maritime security and safety in the region will be discussed, including the need for countries to strengthen regional cooperation and governance by fostering multi-dimensional partnerships. Now, former President Olusegun Obasanjo is advocating the need for stakeholders to take action against substance abuse, especially among youths, to stem the tide of rising cases of juvenile delinquency and crimes in society. The former president said this at a special advocacy campaign against drug abuse tagged Fly Above the High, held in Abeokuta, Ogun State. Hakim Jimo reports.
Fly Above the High is a supportive movement against drug abuse. While recounting his story as a former drug addict, the Vice President, Recovery Advocacy Network, Abubakar believes that rehabilitation of drug addicts is possible at any point of their lives.
I believe with love and mentorship, you can bring people out of this dark place. You know, information is power. There are people that are lost in this place, but they don't know there is a way out.
Former President Olusegun Obasanjo advocates the need for stakeholders to take action against substance abuse now to prevent recurring cases of crimes and criminalities in the society.
If you make effort, you can get out of it.
Participants suggest strict legislation against substance abuse as a way out of the menace.
These substances are not supposed to be available. The availability is much in our environment. So that primordial level is very important, where government legislates, strict legislation, and then, of course, making sure that those legislations are implemented.
If that awareness is created from the school level, family level, and there's a political will and support for that awareness, then we're able to cut they use.
There are some parts in the brain that does not need your consent to function. So when you take drug, it makes your brain works abnormally.
One can overcome the addiction through God and through seeking counseling.
The Enlightenment program metamorphosed into a panel discussion where the panelists encouraged Nigerians to shun substance abuse in its entirety. In Abeokuta, Hakeem Jimo, NTA News.
In the meantime, operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency have arrested a 50-year-old businessman at the Kanu Ibiam International Airport, Enugu, for ingesting 90 wraps of cocaine. Salwa Khalil Ibrahim, who reports on NDLEA activities, also tells us that during the week, a Chinese national and a Nigerian drug kingpin were also arrested in Lagos.
2, 3, 4.
The 50-year-old businessman was intercepted by men of the NDLEA on Wednesday, 20th November 2024, on arrival from Ethiopia at Enugu Airport, following months of intelligence and surveillance on him. He was subsequently placed on excretion observation, during which he ingested 90 pellets of cocaine weighing 2.019 kilograms in 7 excretions. In another well-coordinated operation carried out by a Special Operations Unit of the agency on Thursday, 21st November, head of a cocaine distribution cartel was arrested along with 5 of his associates in Lagos. A total of 2.412 kilograms of cocaine were recovered from them. In a related development, another drug syndicate operated by a Chinese man has been dismantled by NDLEA operatives following his arrest at his hotel in Lagos. He is said to be the brain behind a transborder drug trafficking syndicate. In Ekiti State, NDLEA operatives on Sunday, 17th November, arrested a 50-year-old physically challenged woman with 286 grams of Colorado and loud. Raids and arrests were also carried out in Edo, Kano, and Bauchi states. In Abuja, Salwa Khalil Ibrahim, NTA News.
The Nigeria Police Force Explosive Ordnance Disposal Unit has successfully recovered unexploded ordnances in the Katsina area of Maiduguri, Borno State, following reports from vigilance residents. A statement by the force indicates that the EOD operatives recovered 6 unexploded projectiles and 1 mortar bomb near an uncompleted building. The EOD unit has safely removed the ordnances, declared the area safe, and conducted explosive risk awareness campaigns to sensitize residents. Meanwhile, the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, has applauded the EOD operatives in Borno State for their prompt response and professionalism in preventing a series of calamities, as many IEDs have been safely recovered in many instances within the state. Egbetokun wants members of the public to refrain from handling suspicious objects and to promptly report such discoveries to the police for prompt action. Let's now head over to our Kaduna Network Center, where Salamatu is standing by. Hello, Salamatu.
Hello, good evening and a warm welcome to Kaduna. Kaduna State Government is set to establish a security trust fund to mobilize more resources to tackle the challenges of terrorism and banditry. The State Governor Obasani disclosed this during the official launching of an emblem to honor the fallen heroes who made the ultimate sacrifice in the fight against insecurity. Muhammad Umarajenge reports.
The solemn sound of this bugle is a reminder of the sacrifice of a soldier who has fallen. These shoes and caps neatly arranged speaks of the bravery, service, and a life given for the greater good. Families, well-wishers, including the governor of Kaduna State, joined the families of the soldiers to remember the brave men who paid the supreme price for peace and unity of the country. He launched an emblem to honor the memories of these heroes as a symbol of gratitude for their sacrifice.
This emblem reminds us of the ultimate price paid by our fallen heroes. Our administration has also created a private sector-driven Kaduna Security Trust Fund to mobilize resources for effective and sustained execution of the war against terrorists, bandits, kidnappers, and other criminal elements.
Though the bugle sound may have faded after every year's event, but the legacy of the fallen heroes lives on through these acts of remembrance and gratitude. In Kaduna, I am Muhammad Umar-Jingi, NTA News.
Away from Kaduna, Katsina State Governor Diko Rada has flagged off the rehabilitation of the 39-kilometer Shargale-Dutsi-Ngawa road at a cost of 13.8 billion naira, marking a significant move to enhance infrastructure development in the state. The road, which has been in disrepair since 2004, plays a crucial role in connecting communities and fostering economic growth. Awal Haliru tells us more.
The reconstruction project is a key component of the state government's Building Your Future agenda aimed at enhancing infrastructure across the state. The project is expected to improve the transportation of goods and services, attract investment, create jobs, and enhance access to markets. Governor Dukorada urged community leaders, traditional rulers, and citizens to support the project by ensuring its execution with integrity and diligence.
Total reconstruction of the Shargale-Dutsi-Ngawa road, encompassing a stretch of 39 kilometers at the sum of 13.8 billion naira, and 40% of this amount has already been paid to the contractor.
The government has also pledged to work with local communities to guarantee that the final output meets expectations and stands the test of time.
Infrastructure development is a shared responsibility, and your active participation will play a crucial role. We promise to deliver this project to the high standard.
The reconstruction and rehabilitation of the Shargale-Dutsi-Ngawa road highlight the government's commitment to empowering local communities through strategic infrastructure development, driving economic growth, and improving lives. In Katsina, Awal Haliru, NTA News.
You still watch it nationwide. We'll be going on a short break after this timeout. Stay tuned.
Thanks for rejoining us on the NTA. Let's now cross over to our Port Harcourt Network Centre, where Jenny will give us our next set of reports. Hello, Jenny, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Dennis. Adequate and timely preparations mitigate effects of natural disasters such as flooding. To stem such disasters in parts of Rivers State, stakeholders are calling for dredging of Orashi River in the state to widen its capacity to cope with the perennial flooding. Robinson Dirataide has the details.
In the last 10 years and still counting, there has been heavy flooding across Nigeria. This perennial flooding is partly attributed to the rising sea level and the frequent release of excess water from Dago Dam in Cameroon. Rivers State and neighboring Bayelsa State suffer much damage from flooding, with hundreds of people regularly displaced from their homes, losing livelihoods and property. National assets have not been spared in colossal damage. Water levels in most communities in Ahoda West and the Orashi region are rising. Some houses and farmlands are submerged, and victims are forced to harvest their crops too early and relocate to IDP camps. Some government agencies have been providing palliatives for the victims, but of course, life is always about survival of the fittest.
We need medical treatment, because we will lie down on these tires, and we have coal in our body.
All this food where they carry give us, we bless the person, but what do we want? Make them gather the money do make flood no come worry us again.
To address this perennial disaster, concerned citizens are calling for dredging of Orashi River and its tributaries, as well as sustainable measures to end unregulated environmentally harmful practices, such as land reclamation, building on natural waterways, and discarding garbage into open drainages.
For the future purpose, to not allow this happen again, they should create reservoirs and more deeper drainage.
There's Interwaba around here and some other places. Dredge this Interwaba, make it wider.
A major concern from this year's flooding in River State may be a worsening food shortage due to harvest of immature crops and higher cost of available ones. In Port Harcourt, Robinson Daratede, NTA News.
Research indicates that Nigerians are resilient and industrious, willing to go all the way to excel in any promising endeavor. A clear indication that white-collar jobs are no longer endlessly sought after. However, a number of factors may have over time inhibited their businesses, and in this report, Joy Uzo takes a look at some of these factors and the role of government in addressing them.
It has been established that micro, small and medium-scale enterprises are the engine room of any economy. This conclusion stems from the viable role they play in trade facilitation, poverty eradication, job creation, and the ingenuity they bring to service delivery. Here in Nigeria, the ingenuity of small and medium entrepreneurs are felt in catering, tailoring and fashion designing, hairdressing, furniture making, and a whole lot of emerging enterprises. In spite of their creativity and resilience in service delivery, as well as a passionate quest to thrive in the business world, a number of factors continue to pose a challenge. They include access to capital and poor power supply, among other issues. This has prompted River State government's intervention through the approval of a 4 billion naira support fund for MSMEs in the state as credit for business expansion. For an apprentice like Bright Goodman, who desires to access the fund but is hindered by some constraints, all hope is not lost. He believes he will be able to surmount the others someday, access the facility, and begin a viable process of building his own business.
Assuming like I have those loans, I know some things I will like solve for myself too. And for me now, I'm supposed to have shop on my own, but based on say yes, money no day, so I cannot have my own shop. So I'm still working under somebody, and not every day that the person is paying me.
If you notice China, it's not that China they are more educated than us, but because they have after school, most of their students go back to work. That's skill. They have a skill. They do business. So if every child can have a skill, nobody will be bothering about employment or not.
Governor did a great job in our life by imparting us. My money was 400,000. It helped me a lot. It really went a long way for me. My business has been growing. The interest rate is very, very small.
The same cannot be said for our peer in the industry, necessitating a review of the disbursement process with suggestions on improved mechanisms to get more beneficiaries on board. In Port Harcourt, Joy Uzo, NTA News.
Those are the reports from here. Nationwide continues with Dennis in Abuja.
Thank you, Jenny. Now, the Minister of State Works, Mohammed Bello Goronyo, has urged agencies under the Ministry of Works to engage in unlocking new sources of funds, which he says will reduce their dependency on federal government's allocations. The Minister of State was speaking at the meeting with heads of the agencies following a formal handover of the supervision of the agencies to his office.
The meeting kick-started with a formal introduction of the Minister of State Works.
It brings me to the introduction of our new Minister of State, Right Honorable Bello Goronyo. Did I get it right?
Then the Minister of State set the tune of the meeting with a tip of his leadership style, which aligns with that of his boss.
The king was a commitment to work and serve my dear country, Nigeria. So I want to urge you to extend the same support and loyalty that you are giving to my grandmother, so that together we can realize our dreams and aspirations for a better country.
heads of the agencies, a new approach to wealth creation becomes pertinent.
We're also looking at see how we can maximize the cost savings and efficiency gains within the work we do in the agency. The Honorable Minister for State, Barrister Bello, we want to welcome you to our midst. We benefit both Nigerians and all our nationals living in this country.
The meeting ended with assurances for a better output that impacts positively on the lives of citizens. Abdullah Mohammed, NTA News.
Following NTA's persistent reports on the devastation caused by erosions at Ovom Abia State, a contract has been awarded by the state government to fill the erosion sites. Ikechukwu Ndukwe has an update.
This is what the erosion site looks like before Governor Alex Oti awarded a contract to fill the earth and asphalt the road.
When we get to the formation level, we do sizable drainages to take care of the storm water that actually caused the erosion in the first place. So we do drainage to take care of the storm water that is coming in.
The erosion has submerged worship centers, shops and houses, forcing many to relocate out of fear, just as many can no longer access their homes due to the ravaging erosion.
And people know they can't buy something again for our hand because of the bad road.
We experience a lot here, based on erosions and the water flows. It has not really been easy for us here. But based on what I'm seeing, I think the governor is really trying.
Now, an indigenous construction company is now on site to change the narratives. The first phase of clearing the debris and filling the deep is ongoing, as the company promised to finish up the job in 4 months.
In Abia, Ikechukwu Ndukwe, NTA News.
The renewed Hope Global Town Hall Conference has honored distinguished Nigerians who embody the spirit of excellence at a book launch that gives insight into the inspiring journey of President Bola Tinubu. The president, represented by the Director General of the 2023 campaign organization, Senator Simon Bakolalong, acknowledged the organizers for documenting the renewed hope journey, assuring Nigerians of government's commitment to ensuring inclusive growth. Tokbe Alabi reports.
The Renewed Hope Global Virtual Town Hall Conference is rallying global support and insights for the administration's agenda with a belief that the journey is a shared one requiring sacrifice, belief and a firm support from every corner of the country in bringing renewed hope and sustained progress to all Nigerians.
Let's unveil this.
The book, titled The Architect of Renewal, the Bola Ahmed Tinubu story, has 10 chapters written by 5 authors, chronicling the journey of a leader who reshaped political discourse and governance and offered a roadmap for the country's recovery and growth under his stewardship.
This book is a reassurance by the authors that, like John Maxwell said, a leader knows the way. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu knows the way and will tenaciously pursue and execute a Nigerian reform agenda to success. As we celebrate this evening, we ask Nigerians to maintain their faith and patience. Every reform and initiative is a step towards the brighter future we all envision. I am reminded of his firm belief that no matter how doubting the obstacle may seem, with the right vision and determination, anything is possible.
The awards night was an opportunity to honor distinguished Nigerians for their outstanding contributions, including President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the First Lady, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, among others.
Let me say that this president we have, you know, is a grassroots politician. He has not forgotten about people.
The gathering is more than a tribute to the president, but a celebration of the renewed hope administration and the transformative vision shaping the future of Nigeria. Tokbe Alabi, NTA News.
Let's now go over to the Center of Excellence, where Adiola is our guide. Hello, Adiola. How is the weekend there in Lagos?
Thank you, Dennis. The Chairman, Senate Committee on Banking, Insurance and Other Financial Institutions, Senator Tokunbo Abiru, says the Asset Management Corporation of Nigeria, AMCON, was not created as a permanent fix in the country's financial landscape. Hence, it is imperative that a sustainable approach be fashioned out to clear the 3 trillion naira loan of the corporation. At a forum in Lagos, the senators jointly agreed that this is important so as to channel the resources to other developmental endeavors. Michael Olaleye reports.
Establishing a sustainable path to financial and economic stability is the mandate before the Senate Committee on Banking, Insurance and Other Financial Institutions, and going by the template of intervention presented here, the country has disbursed 4.1 trillion naira for asset purchase and financial accommodation in the last 13 years. The challenge, therefore, is why the corporation vested with the mandate is taking towards the end of the duration of its constitutional responsibility. There are still huge debts yet to be recovered, which is put at around 3 trillion naira. The Chairman, Senate Committee on Banking, Insurance and Other Financial Institutions, while explaining that this interface is necessary to fashion out strategies needed to hasten the recovery process, did not rule out the possibility of extending the period of existence of the Asset Management Corporation of Nigeria.
An extension can be made, but clearly we must just be sure that whatever extension we are giving is a practical and realistic extension. It is to focus on recovering whatever is outstanding so that it can be useful to government for other critical needs.
We have a plan of securitizing, but you cannot securitize a dead asset. And when we securitize, we only need a desk somewhere, maybe within CBN or anywhere.
Both the Senate and the Asset Management Body will also be soliciting the cooperation of the judiciary so as to quicken litigations involving recovery, because, according to the corporation, many debtors prefer lengthy court dates than paying up. In Lagos, Michael Olaleye, NT News.
To further achieve its core mandate of managing the national database, the National Identity Management Commission has concluded plans to introduce a 3-in-1 electronic identification tool called General Multipurpose Card to serve government services as well as other financial transactions. Director General and Chief Executive Officer of the agency, Abisoye Koka-Odushote, spoke on the plan at an event in Lagos while stating that the agency has also cleared off outstanding front-end partners' bills. Diana Ajali completes the report.
With a population of more than 200 million people, the federal government has constantly stressed the importance of accurate data management to give precise planning for Nigerians. And for the National Identity Management Commission, NIMC, authentication and verification of identities is key in attaining government's lofty aspiration for the citizenry. To achieve this, the Director General CEO NIMC says the Agency Act and related legislation have been amended to align with contemporary standards and for a robust identification system in data management for the benefit of all.
We have registered and enrolled a total of 150 million Nigerians. Regarding access to services, the NIN bridges that gap between government and the citizens. It removes any middleman barriers.
Other members of NIMC shed more light on economic benefits of the new electronic identification card with payment and social services functions, describing the development as groundbreaking in the quest to create identity, boost verification, enhance financial transactions, and access to social and government services that would enhance security, efficiency, and inclusivity.
It's a case of having your money, your identity, and your access to government services in one card. The face, the iris, and the fingerprint. With these 3 components, you can guarantee 99.9% accuracy of who an individual is.
We must constantly improve on what we are doing. Then we should also ensure that at every point in time we put competent people to handle some responsibilities.
The National Identity Management Commission, NIMSI, says it will continue to improve infrastructure and increase capacity for enhanced service delivery. In Lagos, Diana Ajale, NTA News.
And those are the reports from Lagos. Nationwide will continue in just return from this break. Welcome to Jos. As part of efforts to curb food crisis, Plateau State government is tasking stakeholders in the agriculture sector to re-strategize towards achieving food sufficiency in the state. Governor Caleb Mutfwang gave the charge in Jos at an interactive session with stakeholders in the sector. Indiang and Abia reports.
Governor Mutfwang says Plateau State has the potential to achieve food sufficiency and become a major supplier in the country. Thus, much needs to be done to achieve this goal.
It will be unfortunate that we are on duty and that hunger begins to kill our people. Not only are we supposed to ensure sustainable food security, but we have the potential to even achieve what I call food sovereignty, that we can become one of the major players in this food supply chain, not only in Nigeria, but even globally.
He charged participants to ensure self-improvement by educating themselves on best practices in agriculture in order to bring prosperity to the people and the state at large. The Commissioner for Agriculture and Rural Development, Samson Bugama, says the ministry will deploy all at its disposal to boost food production.
You had desired to meet with the food soldiers, the persons that lead the troops in the implementation of this agenda. And we have put together some of the heads of MDAs and parastatals and every person within the space. It would have been our joy to have even the food soldiers come to listen to you, to listen to the heartbeats of yours as far as agriculture is concerned.
In Jos, Indian and Abia, NTA News.
The Federal Ministry of Youth Development is intensifying efforts towards making youth self-reliant, particularly in the area of agriculture. This was at a closing ceremony of a 2-week National Youth in Agriculture Training Program in Jos for youths in northern states. Again, Indiang and Abia has details.
The National Youth in Agriculture Training Program for unemployed youth is leveraging on the efforts of the federal government in job creation and diversification of the economy by empowering youth in agro-allied skills for sustainable livelihood through innovative business ideas. The 541 youths drawn from the northwest, northeast, and north central states of the country are in Jos to acquire relevant skills in fish business, cassava processing, and beekeeping.
We have been given a high-level knowledge, something we are sure to have paid thousands of naira to be able to achieve, but we have been given it for free by the federal government. So I want to say a very big thank you to the federal government for what they have done.
I learned a lot, and I pray that by these skills I've learned, that God will help me, I will help my family and help myself.
This is a very good initiative. If you have youth that come together in cluster, I think they will do something very great and they will become useful.
The essence of this program is to ensure that we have skills on the tips of our children to address youth restiveness, to address unemployment, to also bring them to creativity.
Stakeholders applauded the federal government for being strategic in addressing unemployment. In Jos, Indian and Abia, NTA News.
That's all from Jos. It's back to Dennis in Abuja for the continuation of Nationwide.
Many thanks, Bill Kisu. Now let's focus on some religious matters. Participants from various Quranic schools in Karkaku village, Sandamu local government area of Katsina state, have showcased their exceptional skills in memorization and recitation of the Quran. Husseini Suleiman reports that this impressive display of talent was evident at the annual Quranic competition held among schools in the area.
ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني.
The events crowned the best students in different categories. Meanwhile, countering unpleasant news permeating the media these days was the focus of Jehovah's Witnesses at their annual regional convention held at the Moshood Abiola National Stadium, Abuja. Sandra Akeme reports that the convention, with the theme Declare the Good News, focused on Jesus Christ.
Abiola National Stadium transformed into a spiritual heaven as Jehovah's Witnesses gathered for their 2024 regional convention. Delegates filled the main bowl for their three-day event, seeking spiritual rejuvenation.
We are so passionate about our Father Jehovah that nothing will cause us to disobey him.
As bearers of goodness, we have been taught to be orderly.
If we're loitering about, moving up and down, we probably would not learn much.
The energy, the excitement, I can feel Jehovah's Holy Spirit blessing the occasion.
This convention program has helped me to do the same, to declare the kingdom message with all I have. So I've truly, truly enjoyed the program.
The 2024 convention themed Declared the Good News, featured presentations and Bible-based videos from the four gospel accounts of Jesus. This highlighted the significance of Jesus' birth, life and death for mankind. A historic moment came during the baptism of 580 new believers, a truly unforgettable sight.
That crowd of persons stand up to come symbolize their dedication by water baptism gladdens my heart.
Speakers urged believers to strengthen their relationship with God and fellow believers, demonstrating commitment to spreading love, peace, and hope through the good news they preach.
For more than a year now, the planning has started and it keeps going, and now we are able to enjoy the outcome.
But here we're learning that there is plenty of hope in the future, and we're also learning how can we manage the bad news when it comes our way.
This year's convention made history, attracting over 25,000 delegates who showcased remarkable Christian love and service to humanity. In Abuja, Sandra Akeme, NTA News.
In other news, the People's Democratic Party Governors Forum is calling on the federal government to urgently review microeconomic and fiscal policies to address the welfare of Nigerians. This is contained in its 8-point communique issued after its two-day meeting in Jos, Plateau State. Ndenyang and Abuja reports.
In attendance were members of the Working Committee of the Party, Board of Trustees, National Assembly Forum, and former Ministers Forum.
The Forum wishes to pledge that all PDP governors will continue to aggressively pursue policies and programs that will reduce the hardship and ensure progress and development.
It resolved to suspend the next meeting of the party to honor one of their members, the governor of Akwa Ibom State, whose wife will be buried on the same day earlier agreed by the meeting. It therefore advised the National Working Committee of the party to call for next meeting latest the first week of February 2025. The forum further commiserated with the government and people of Plateau State over the Laranto Katako market inferno and the government and people of Jigawa State over the tanker explosion where many lives were lost. In Jos, Ndenyang and Abuja, NTA News.
Let's go to Saudi Arabia now, where global health champions have been tasked to navigate through hurdles to solve issues of immediate priority. One of these is the Conjoined twins, which is piloting the wheel for innovative solutions, and the King Salman Humanitarian Aid and Relief Center is providing the platform. And away in Riyadh, correspondent Abubakar Akwanga reports that the 2024-2025 International Conference of Conjoined Twins is craving a new agenda for a promising future for patients.
2024 and 2025 Conjoined Twins Conference holding in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia is a global phenomenon seeking sincere answers to many questions left to only one man to solve: the Saudi monarch, King Salman bin Abdul Aziz. Now ovations are high as number of patients for the single fertilized egg that splits and develops into two individuals, commonly known as conjoined twins, are becoming more alarming for one individual to address.
The King Salman Humanitarian Aid and Relief Center is not only, spreading its tentacles around the world, but it has its own stopover in Nigeria.
Nigeria is also a major beneficiary, as 3 different families have successfully undergone the experience with all their babies hale and hearty, a gesture that cut across 26 countries with 143 cases and 61 pairs, now leading top conversation by experts.
Hundreds of thousands of children dying every year because of congenital anomalies, and conjugated twins is one of these important congenital anomalies.
Is an incredible humanitarian initiative that not only would serve the areas around us, but somewhere around the world.
It's really a turning point, and we are really glad to be invited, and I'm very honored to be invited by King Salman Relief and its partners.
Panelists say with detection of the problem at early stage of pregnancy, safe abortion at instances of major health complications, and regular antenatal services, chances of mortalities and deformation can be brought to a controllable limit.
The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, through its ministry, is pursuing a strong commitment with the United Nations for the declaration of 24th November of every year as World Conjoined Twins Day. This is to raise global awareness and to seek greater partnership in meeting international demands of stemming the health challenge, especially in developing countries. In Riyadh, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, I am Abubakar Akwanga, NTA.
And back here in Nigeria, but staying with health, the Nasarawa state government is stepping up campaigns to reduce the burden of cervical cancer in the states with the vaccination of more than 2,000 girls between 9 and 14. This was disclosed at a stakeholders' engagement of the Nasarawa State's Primary Healthcare Development Agency in Lafia. Victoria Ojito reports.
Findings show that human papilloma virus, which is the leading cause of cervical cancer, is responsible for 95% cases of cancer in Nigeria and second most common amongst women in Nigeria. This is to bridge gap and ensure that girls within the age group of 9 to 14 who are not sexually active get immunized. The stakeholders meeting therefore provides platform to review the 2023 vaccination exercise and strategies to step up the campaign to ensure no girl child between age 9 to 14 is left out in the immunization exercise.
Our target was on 238,000, 216,000 girls 9 to 14 years. And the National Health Supply us with all the required vaccines, so we'll be able to vaccinate more than 238 girls 9 to 14 years in the state.
The state integrated those activities into the already existing immunization, as well as leveraging on other program activities like MNCH Week.
Already, Lafia, Karo, and Wamba local government areas have been selected to conduct HPV intensification to improve their uptake on the vaccine. In Lafia, Victoria Kaswa Ojito, NTA News.
The death has occurred of Alhaji Nuhu Tanko on Saturday, 23rd November 2024 in Abuja. Late Tanko was aged 70. Until his death, he was a retired director with the FCT Secondary School Education Board. He was also a community leader and a pillar of support to many. Late Nuhu Tanko is survived by his wife, children, and many grandchildren. He has been buried in accordance with Islamic rites. The Kenyan military's Edwin Okongo wins gold in boxing male 75-kilogram category at ongoing Africa Military Games, Abuja, as Nigeria continues to dominate in other sports. For details and more, let's join Suleiman Musa on Sports Update.
We begin with AMGA 2024. In boxing, luck has continued to run out of Nigeria as the host country in the ongoing Africa Military Games as their opponent keep outshining the giant of Africa. Those ugly experiences include their encounter with Kenya in 75-kilogram bout, Algeria in 80-kilogram bout, as well as Ghana in 92-kilogram bout. However, it was a contrary story in male super heavyweight plus 92-kilogram fight in the second semi-finals of the boxing event, which was in favor of Nigeria. Also in Taekwondo, Nigeria suffered another loss in their 80-kilogram male.
Sleeping, I think he woke me up, but all the rest, it wasn't hard. It was very easy. I was seeing everything. I was clear, it was clear, and I thank God for the win.
Elsewhere, handicap 15 player, retired Major General Victor Ezegu has emerged as the overall champion of the 2024 Golf for Peace tournament, which concluded on Saturday at the TYB Golf Course in Abuja. Ezegu scored a gross of 78 with a net score of 63, surpassing over 118 other golfers to take the title.
I've been playing golf in the last 30 years of my life, but this is the high point of my golf career because the first time I'm winning a major tournament, and it's called Golf for Peace.
We are preaching peace to bring peace back to the nation amongst ourselves.
For what golf stands for is what we also project, that peace. Wherever there is peace, there will be progress, there will be development, and that's what we are looking at.
Organizers say the tournament has successfully promoted its message of peace and unity. With sport updates, Suleiman Musa, NTA News.
And Sports Updates concludes nationwide. Many thanks for watching from me and the production team. Enjoy the rest of your evening.